As we approach Christmas, a wave of strikes is getting underway, hitting the postal service, rail and airline passengers. Let's go to Downing Street and speak to Sky's senior political correspondent, Beth Rigby. Good morning, Beth. A lot of concern then for people that we're going to be seeing Christmas chaos. What's the government doing about it?
Hi, Jonathan. Yeah, what a week of misery for those commuters trying to get into central London on Southern Rail, and also for those people that are trying to fly out of the country on BA over Christmas. So what can the government do about it? Well, my government sources tell me that for now they're trying to get people back round the table and people back to work. A source telling me we need to just sit around the table and get people back to work. So not any attempt at the moment to ramp up the pressure on unions in terms of legislation. But I should say that in terms of, for Theresa May, pressure is growing from her backbenches to try and potentially do something and introduce tougher legislation around unions and their ability to strike. And this is what Chris Philp, who's the MP for Croydon South, the part of South London hit by these rail strikes, this is what he had to say.
In the run-up to Christmas, we're seeing strikes on Southern Railway, possibly the Tube, the Post Office, British Airways, maybe even Argos. That strikes me as beyond coincidence. And when you have situations like Southern Railway, where a few hundred union militants are holding up 300,000 people from getting to work, that is why you need legislation to make sure that strikes on critical public infrastructure are reasonable and proportionate.
The key word there, or key words, was beyond coincidence. Many Tory MPs and indeed some people in Cabinet believe that these are politically motivated strikes by the unions, a coordinated set of strikes to try and bring Theresa May's government down, or at least into deep trouble with the public. Now, the unions would counter that these are individual strikes by individual workers in individual companies, all with specific grievances against their bosses. So where do we go from here? Well, I'm told by government sources there is not going to be any emergency legislation to bring these strikes to an end, on the basis it's just not practical or doable in the time frame that they've got before Parliament rises this week. But the government are keeping under review whether they might introduce new legislation next year to clamp down on strikes, potentially making it harder for critical industries to strike or raising the thresholds even further. But Jonathan, I should point out that when the government introduced a trade union bill earlier this year to make it more difficult to strike, it was politically very difficult to get through the House of Lords. And so anything that Theresa May does on this is going to give her another political battle at a time when she really has her hands full trying to deliver Brexit. So we'll have to wait and see, but I don't think it's top of her agenda.
OK, Beth, thank you.